Welcome again to the Fantasy Q&A show with the Pro Football Demon and the Buffalo Trill.
Yeah.
I'm the Brian. I got to come up with a better one for me.
I like the Brian. I think it fits you. Yeah,
it does. I am. If anything, I am the Brian.
You are.
Any other Brians you guys know out there, they don't exist. It's just me. No. I'm looking especially pale. So the vampire comments will come in at any moment. Guys, it is week 15. It is officially fantasy playoff time. So the advice we're giving tonight, most of it will be for teams that are in the playoffs, or maybe we'll have some team building questions. We can tackle some 2024 draft questions, kind of. I haven't really dug into it, but we know the big names. Or you guys can just ask us random questions, even if they don't affect your team. But you guys know how we do it. Fantasy Q&A show, ask us whatever questions you want for about the next hour or so. Just hit up in the chat if you want to guarantee your question gets answered. There's only one way. You have to go to the Pro Football Demon YouTube channel and use the super chat feature. 100% money back guarantee to get your question answered. How about that?
It's a good deal.
Money back guarantee. We got to.
Before we get into the questions, should we address Kevin's prognosticating?
Yes. I think we should.
I mean, I feel he gets the credit here. Right?
How many drinks do you have now, Kevin? You still have
just two? Just two. Coffee and water.
I see a mysterious.
No lemonade today. No lemonade today.
I'm working the coffee too, which
nice.
4 p.m. is probably a little late. But
I got two cocktails too. I got a Zevia. I'm gonna need this for the game tonight.
Look at us, all of us.
I got my tea. Look at that.
I love it.
Yep, prepared.
I love it. Caffeine is the only
credit to Kevin given. Let's move on.
No, that wasn't enough. I
set you up and nobody talked about it.
I need some bowing. So listen, if you weren't here last week, you should have been, first of all. Shame on you, but it's okay. You're here now. I predicted that the Patriots would upset the Steelers on Thursday Night Football, and I predicted a score of 19-17. And I was roasted. I was lambasted.
I laughed out loud.
I said start Zeke.
I think
I said start Deontay. I was lambasted.
I was worried about your mental acumen at that point, Kevin.
They were, and I was never more clear eyes, full hearts. Can't lose. I knew it. And sure enough, they put up 21, and Zeke and Deontay were great starts. And there was some sort of an agreement that maybe they would wear some Bills merch or I love Josh Allen under their eyes. I don't see any of that happening.
There wasn't an agreement made. You were the one that made the ridiculous claim.
There was no bilateral agreement made.
I don't like one-sided bets are not great.
You can't just give a hot take and then be like, well, if I'm wrong, you guys have to do this. You can't do that. You can't.
No, it was if I was right. You had to.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. If I'm right, then you guys. Have to
but fair enough. There will be plenty more. I will see Pro Football Demon wear a Josh Allen jersey in the near future. I'm confident. I'm confident.
In my casket, maybe.
Exactly.
All right, that is enough, Kevin Love. We've given him the appropriate 2 minutes for his great job last week. Let's go ahead and get into the questions. I did say over on the Legit Football TikTok, we had a question, and I said we would answer it on the YouTube first. So I don't remember. Kevin, can you say, do you remember who asked it?
We had Howard Johnson on TikTok. I don't know if he's here now. Howard Johnson, if you're not here, we're disappointed in you.
Howard Johnson, like the hotel?
Probably. Yeah, it's probably that Howard Johnson.
Okay.
But he asked Trey McBride or Zamir White in a full PPR this week. I'm guessing a flex.
You want me to go first, Brian, or you want to
shoot? No, right. You look like you want to answer. So
I'm going Trey McBride for the simple fact that I don't know what to expect from Zamir White. I think he intrigues me. I actually made a trade. He had him thrown in a trade that we did in our Dynasty League with Brian. I made sure he was thrown in that deal. I like maybe his long-term prospects, but in this offense with all the volatility going on, I'm not sure how much I can trust him. Now it is the Chargers defense, so I mean anything can happen. But Trey McBride has been fairly steady, so I feel more comfortable with him. Ceiling and floor.
Yeah, I think that's a perfectly fine answer. The 49ers are just so good against tight ends, absolutely stifling against tight ends. So definitely something that is worthy of considering, and that's Trey McBride's matchup this week. So Zamir White, I would like to think of Zamir White as like a break glass in case of emergency kind of play tonight. I would rather not. I don't want any pieces in tonight's game, really, if I'm being completely honest with you. This is a team that we saw in a 3-0 game last week. So as much away from it as I can possibly stay from a fantasy perspective. That's how I'm leaning. So I'd probably lean McBride too, but I don't feel super good about it.
Yeah, just to sum it up, you've got one guy with a great track record, not a great matchup, and one guy that we have very little, if any, information on as far as he's a second-year running back, what he could produce at the NFL level. You got to go McBride. To me, it's like a no-brainer. Like, why risk a guy because, he's a starting running back because Jacobs is out?
Right.
No. McBride's been one of the best tight ends in the second half of the season this year. Mm-hmm. All right, let's get into the regular questions. Louis Laco says, Olave, Flowers, or Rashee Rice? Pick 2, Kevin.
Yeah, so nice little lineup there, because those are 3 guys that it didn't always look super rosy for. A little flower pun there. Didn't always look rosy for those 3, but it's been better.
He gives himself a pat on the back in the middle of the comment because he said rosy flower. Come on.
Yeah, you like that? Yeah.
That's not your best one.
It might have gone over your head, Brian. It was a little
it's too much for my pale blondness to. Okay.
So they all kind of have had resurgent second halves. I think I would probably lock Olave in there based on ceiling and based on acumen. And then as far as the next player goes, Rashee Rice, the Chiefs play the Patriots this week, which I think is a good matchup. It's on paper, they have a good defense, but I feel like the Chiefs need a get right game. They've lost 2 straight for the first times in the Mahomes era. So I think they're going to be looking to make a little bit of a statement. And then Baltimore this week plays, I'm just getting up to date on my weekly, the Jaguars. I think I would probably go with Olave, and I think I'd go with Flowers for the ceiling, but Rice is not a bad play either. You did good, Louis Laco.
Rich, what team plays in Jacksonville?
The Jaguars.
Jaguar.
Yeah, I was going to say that because wires. I hate when people say wires.
I like wires. There's no I in there.
A lot of people.
Where does the I sound come from?
So many people say that I actually had to look it up to see if I was saying it wrong, and I realized that I wasn't.
I do it in protest to the people who care.
Okay, well, I care, and if you didn't have a cool Nintendo mug, then I would be harder on you, but I'll let it go.
There you go.
Right.
Is Olave one of the many that have suffered an ankle injury? I mean, there are receivers that are just falling all over the place.
I think Olave is set to play. I think all of these guys are, injury is not an issue for these 3.
Set to play, okay. I would probably go Olave against the Giants, and I like Zay Flowers over Rashee Rice, so I'm doing that.
I do like the volume Rice has been. I don't have it in front of me, but he's getting I think he's had 10 plus targets in 2 or 3 games straight. Because
fumble last week.
He did. He's still a rookie, but that kind of volume in the Chiefs offense, even though they haven't been the Chiefs offense, because it's either going to be Kelsey or Rice. Mahomes is going to stop throwing to the rest of these guys. So I just like that volume play. I can't see the Chiefs losing 3 in a row, so I think they're going to come out swinging. I think Rashee Rice is going to be the beneficiary of that. Olave, I love the talent. Don't love the offense. I don't love the Carr situation. Flowers has just been really good. So I would go Flowers and Rashee Rice there.
Yeah, McFadden, 10 targets, 9 targets, and 10 targets respectively.
Look at that. That's you got to love that.
And the 3 of us have 3 different answers there.
Did we really?
I think we did.
I think Louis Laco did a good job setting himself up.
This is what you come to the show for, guys, to get utterly confused with vastly different advice.
Well, yeah, I mean, pick your favorite and trust them.
All right, on to the next. Isaac, Breece Hall, Gibbs, Swift, and Pacheco for running backs. Flowers, Devontae Adams, Metcalf, Amari Cooper, and Godwin for wide receivers. 1 wide receiver. I think Isaac did this last week too. Did we? Yeah. Did you win? Because we picked your whole lineup last week, Isaac.
Yeah,
I think you might have.
All right, so Rich, we'll start with you on this. Let's pick Isaac's entire starting lineup for Week 15.
So, okay, he needs 1 wide receiver and 1 running back, or just 1 full? What is he looking for? Who should I start at all these guys?
No, flex. So basically, I think he's got
2 flex,
2 running back, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. I think. Yeah, let's assume that until he corrects us in the chat.
2 running backs, 2 receivers. So as far as the running backs going Breece Hall, Gibbs, and Swift, because Pacheco's probably out, I believe, right? Well, okay, 2 running backs, Breece Hall and Swift, definitely.
Pacheco still has not practiced, so it's looking like he's going to.
So Breece Hall and Gibbs definitely are the 2 running backs. 2 receivers. Gonna go. Listen, at this point in the playoffs, I'm starting my studs. I'm going Devontae and Metcalf. That's my rule of thumb. And then it's between Swift and Flowers for me as the flex. And I am probably going to go. Who's Philly have this week? They have Dallas, right?
No, Seahawks.
Seahawks.
Monday night.
Ooh. All right. Oh man. And who does
And
Baltimore have?
Swift has not been good.
Yeah,
Like,
he's not been good.
Swift
Yeah,
3 and
failed
4,
teams
like
last
7
week.
total fantasy points for like
I'm
the
gonna
last
go
2 weeks.
Flowers as my flex.
Yeah.
He hasn't been good.
Yeah, Brees, Gibbs, Flowers, Adams, Metcalf. That's my 5. That was your 5 as well?
Yeah.
I think that's the 5.
One thing you guys didn't even consider, but I Amari Cooper had like 15 targets last week from Joe Flacco.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
But he's still Amari Cooper,
Exactly.
and in this, I mean, I don't know. When it comes to the playoffs, I'm going start your studs, and Flowers is a stud, and Cooper's not anymore.
Is the shoe ever going to drop with the Flacco Browns? Is he just good? Are they just good at moving the ball through the air? Like, is that?
Can I address this, Brian, really quick?
please.
Joe Flacco is not a bad quarterback. Joe Flacco was stuck behind a bad offensive line in New York, and I said when he goes to the Browns, he's going to have a pretty good offensive line. You give him a little time, he'll make something happen, and that's what's happening.
He's been great, and I feel like we might have to adjust our expectations in a positive way now. We sort of reversed it. We were like, oh, we're a little nervous about the Flacco stuff, but now I feel like we can sort of start looking at Flacco's options as viable again.
Maybe, yeah.
I think we've seen enough.
So I like the running back answers are slam dunks. We're completely in agreement on that. I think Metcalf is a slam dunk. He's been playing really well, and they're going up against the Eagles, which has been surprisingly one of the absolute worst secondaries in the entire NFL. I actually would consider between Adams and Cooper. Not a talent. I mean, Cooper's talented too, but I mean, it's still Aiden O'Connell tonight. I don't know. They were debating whether they were even going to. Jimmy Garoppolo might have started. Like
still the Chargers defense though.
It is the Chargers D, but Aiden O'Connell, I think he has more interceptions than touchdowns. Yeah. Adams has been playing and he's getting and he's just not doing anything with it. So yeah, start your studs. I get that. F it. I'm going with Flacco and Cooper. Let's start Cooper over Adams.
Let's go. Wow.
Let's see how that goes.
So you're sitting Adams.
Yeah, I'm going to sit Devontae on this ugly Thursday.
Well, who was your flex then? Who was your flex?
You
Oh,
You said Metcalf and Cooper.
Brees, I think he threw Flowers in.
Flowers,
too.
yeah. Flowers, Metcalf, and Cooper.
Flex? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, we got a pick'em question, which I love. I do pick'ems every week for Legit Football. Ravens or Jags? Big game this week, Rich.
The Jaguars, huh?
The Jaguars.
Jaguars all day.
They get wired money.
I'm staying with it.
I'm sorry. Refresh me again, man. I haven't looked at the matchups this week. I'm sorry. Jaguars are playing.
Jacksonville. No, they're playing each other.
I think
they're
that's
playing
the
each
question.
other.
Jacksonville is at home. The Ravens, yes. So
I thought it was defense. I thought it was defense. Somewhere.
No, pick. I don't know. School bus man. By the way,
I think the Jaguars are one of the biggest frauds in the league. So I'm going Ravens. Yeah,
he said frauds.
I said it.
Jacksonville 8-5, Ravens 10-3.
He said fraud wires.
He did say fraud wires.
Fraud
wires. Fraudulent wires are very serious issues.
I think I agree with Demon, but not because I think Jacksonville is frauds. I don't think Trevor's all the way. I don't think Trevor's all the way back. I think give Trevor a week or two coming off the ankle. I think they'll have a nice little run this year, but I don't think it's gonna continue this week. I think this is gonna.
I'm about to add some spice. Because I picked 2 upsets this week in my picks, and one of them was Jacksonville getting off the schneid on their 2-game losing streak and beating the Ravens at home, who needed a overtime punt return, granted an amazing punt return, touchdown to beat the Rams last week. I just think the Ravens are going to be a little bit spent. Jacksonville, Trevor actually looked fine. He was moving around in the pocket fine. I think they had some other issues.
Had a scramble.
Yeah, he didn't look like a guy who we all thought would be out for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But I just feel like Jacksonville at home, 2-game losing streak. I have a feeling that this is a get-right game for them, and I picked Jacksonville to win.
I've said it before. You can't trust anybody with hair that long. That's why Kevin puts his in a hat now.
Chill.
Yeah, speaking of Kevin's appearance, the next question from SG. No glasses today, Kev? Where's the safety issues,
down. I apologize deeply. I'll be better next week. I'm gonna
your shop class or your chemistry teacher is very upset you're not wearing your safety glasses right now.
We're good. I'm doing all right.
Josh, what do you think the odds are of Tyreek playing this week? I have JT, Kirk, so Kirk's out because he's on IR. Reek, DJ Moore, Mostert, Aaron Jones in a 20-man league.
That's a deep team in a 20-man league.
That's a great team in a 20-man league. Literally, my whole starting lineup except Lamar and Kelsey are out or questionable. Kevin, we'll start with you on this one.
Yeah, so I don't know about Tyreek Hill playing this week. I would say the odds are yes. I would say I'm probably leaning 55-45. So, I would say you can at least exhale on that front, Josh. But yeah, I'm really sorry that you're missing so many guys in the playoffs. It's a horrible, horrible reality. I would say 55-45 on Tyreek playing myself.
Because the weather's going to be horrible. So I don't know if they're going to want to risk Tyreek running around on a slick field with that ankle. That's the only thing that would make me lean it the other way. If the weather was going to be dry, I'd say he probably leaned towards playing, but they have that center problem. I don't know. I don't know. Like this game, if they lose this game, I mean, this isn't it hurts their chances to, be a number 1 seed, but it doesn't really hurt their playoff chances. So I don't know.
It hurts their division, though. If they lose another division game,
it hurts them winning the division.
I think more than winning the number 1 seed, they would love to win the AFC East.
Yeah.
So as the resident Dolphins fan and seeing what they did with Tyreek last week, I think he'll be in. How effective he'll be is a whole nother question, but I do think he'll start this game because the Dolphins need to win this game, and they put him back out there last week. His wife told him to go in. His wife told him to get back in the game.
That's funny.
I just don't know how long even if he starts, on a slick field, that's the only thing.
That's the second question. Like he said, what are the odds of his playing? I think the odds of him playing are good. How effective he'll be, how much of a snap count, if they even keep him going, that's a whole different question. I don't know what the rest of his lineup here. Like DJ Moore, I think is a slam dunk with Fields in. He's such a big difference when it's Fields versus any other quarterback.
He's also got an ankle though, no?
Is he not playing?
He's got an ankle injury. From last I heard, he's one of the guys that
it hasn't been on my radar, so I would assume it's not that serious.
Okay.
Mostert returned to practice today, so if you're worried about Mostert, I know he's questionable. He gets a lot of rest days. He's fine. Yeah.
He'll be good.
Aaron Jones, I don't know.
He practiced like 3 days last week, and then he was a last minute inactive. Killed me, man. Damn.
So I hope that answered your question. I don't know. Did you chime in? Did we?
Not really much of a question other than odds of Tyreek playing. We all answered that.
He was just telling us what he has.
All right, let's keep on rolling because we actually have a lot. The chat is popping tonight.
Appreciate y'all.
More people coming prior to Chargers Raiders than Patriots Steelers last week. Oscar Alvarez, Brandon Ayuk, or Zay Flowers, Rich?
Ooh, man, that's a good one. Probably Ayuk because, as Kevin said before, Zay Flowers. Man, I don't know, man.
Both have good matchups. Ayuk going up against the Cardinals, Flowers going up against Jacksonville secondary that's been pretty bad, and Tyson Campbell, their top corner, hasn't been practicing.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's still going to be the CMC show. That they don't. San Francisco doesn't win unless CMC gets his touches. So I'm going to go Zay Flowers.
I think PPR or half PPR matters in this question. Usually, I don't know, but if it's PPR, I'm going Zay all day. But half PPR, I'd probably go Ayuk because I think the odds Ayuk scores a touchdown are higher.
Yeah, I agree. And look, playoff time, I'm going ceiling. You did not get this far to chase the floor. Flowers is a little more of the floor. Ayuk has a much better ceiling than Flowers. Definitely. So I'm going to go Ayuk. He's one of the top in as far as average yards per reception because a lot of times when he gets the ball, it's deep down the field, whereas Debo gets kind of more of the shorter stuff. So yeah, I'm going to go Ayuk here. Josh, just as a follow-up on his previous question, just said, do you think they all play other than JT and Kirk? We kind of addressed that. But he did add on another one. Do you start Geno or Mr. Jake Browning, Kevin?
Yeah, so Geno's got the Cowboys. The Eagles.
No,
We've been doing that all day.
Yeah.
We've been switching those teams. So Geno's got the Eagles, who Swiss cheese secondary. I like the Seahawks weapons. If Geno's fully healthy, I like Geno to be a nice, solid start this week. Geno's been unreliable this year, but I think if there's ever a week you can rely on Geno, it's this one. And then Browning, the Bengals play the Vikings, which they've been resurgent on defense for, if there's no other word. I mean, they weren't always
They've
the
been
best.
a top 5 defense at least the last 6 to 8 weeks under Brian Flores.
They started out not great, but they have turned it around. I like Browning. I like what I've seen from Browning a lot. He's a very, very promising young player. Nice backup for Burrow. They have some nice security in the future there. I'll probably go with Geno for ceiling. And also he's just done it more and longer. But I don't hate Browning as a play this week. So maybe watch the Geno injury news because he did miss last week. So monitor it closely. But I think if Geno plays, he's probably worth the start, in my opinion.
I actually think Browning has the higher ceiling. especially with the Jamar Chase trying to prove he's better than Justin Jefferson. I think he's going to demand the ball and just see some heavy volume. And I know the Vikings defense has been resurgent, but if Chase is just getting targeted and wants to put up a monster game, I think that's worth taking a risk with Browning there.
I'm going to go Geno.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have to score to keep up anyway, because I think the Eagles have put up some points against what has also been a bad Seahawks secondary. But man, any quarterback has been able to have success against this Eagles defense. As good as their defensive line is, they're not getting as much pressure as they did last year either. So really all across the board, I think Metcalf big game, Geno big game in a shootout on Monday night. So I love the Jake Browning story, but in this scenario, I'm actually going to go with Mr. Geno Smith.
I've seen a pretty crazy streak of consecutive 300-yard passers against the Eagles. I do. If I were a betting man, which we all know I am, I would probably bet that will continue.
We put it up on Legit today. Actually,
was that what that was?
It's not a consecutive streak, but there are only 2 teams in the entire NFL that have allowed at least 6 300-yard passers this season. The Eagles are one of them. The Buccaneers are the other.
Wow.
Yeah. Jack Stevenson, start 2. Achane, Swift, Henry, Kev. Or Rich. We'll start with Rich on this one.
So Achane is so risky, man.
Did not practice again today with this toe thing.
He didn't.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
So if Achane's starting, I would say take the swing with Achane and Henry. Just because if he plays, I mean, he could break off a big run. I think he's got a better chance of doing that than Swift does. But keep an eye on that to see. But I would, in the playoffs, if they're saying Achane's starting, I'm going to take, go shoot for that high ceiling and go with him and Henry.
Yeah, I think I agree with Demon. If Achane is in there and the injury vibes are good, him and Henry, because of how much of a disaster Swift has been, unfortunately, I really like Swift. I was devastated by his recent bad stretch.
A lot of that is play calling. They have been quick to abandon the run. Philadelphia has. Part of that has been game flow, but part of that is they're just not trying to establish it. But even when he has run, he hasn't been that effective. So he has 3 bad runs, and then they just abandon it and let Jalen kind of run around.
And even if they don't necessarily abandon the run, it seems like Kenny G gets the work when they're down. Kenny Gainwell gets the work when they're down. So I'm very comfortable with pivoting off Swift if you can.
Like Kenny G for Kenny Gain is not a nice. Nobody wants to be called Kenny G. That's like a negative connotation.
Kenny G is awesome. What are you talking about?
Am I overstepping? Are you guys like big Kenny G fans?
Yes.
Apparently.
Are you kidding me?
Apparently.
No, he's talented, but he's like chill sacks. Like nobody. If you're a football player, you want like a badass nickname, not like, hey, you remind me of the guy that sounds like elevator music.
He's so
man.
smooth.
Barry, you ever see Barry Sanders run? He was like Kenny G. He was just like,
that's so
chill
funny.
and like.
I would not make that comparison. You guys in the chat, would you like to be Kenny G as a nickname for a football player?
That being said, it's Achane and Henry. Unless Achane has weird injury vibes, then Swift and Henry. But I don't love the Swift play this week.
I'm aligned. I'm not playing Swift unless Achane doesn't go. Henry and Achane are the obvious choices there. SG, no Pacheco this week. Pick 2, Ford, Connor, Achane, or Moss, Kev.
Yeah, so these
we
are
just
some...
talked about Achane, so...
I was going to say, the Achane stuff. I love Jerome Ford. I think Jerome Ford is promising. They're playing the Bears, who have been resurgent on defense. Let's be real here.
By the way, my other upset this week, Chicago over Cleveland.
And they're 5-8. They're a game out of the playoffs.
I have the Bears defense. I have them stashed for the playoff run for the next 2 weeks. Yeah.
We were just big up in Flacco, so I do think we can count on the Browns offense at least moving the ball enough to be fantasy viable. Whether or not Fields can do enough on the other side to upset, as McFadden is predicting, remains to be seen. But I do think Ford is a fine play this week. James Conner, the Cardinals play the 49ers. He's on the pine, bro. He ain't seeing the field no matter what. I'd probably make Moss my pivot option. If I can't go Achane and Ford, I'd probably make Zach Moss against the Steelers, who are very good against the run, very horrible against the pass. I think the Colts will attack them in other ways. I foresee a big Michael Pittman, Josh Downs week. So I would say Moss would be the flex choice, the backup option if Achane's no bueno. And I would say Connor is don't even consider it, in my opinion, against the 49ers.
Yeah, for me, I would do Moss over Ford, and so HN and Moss, and then if HN can't go, I would sub Ford in.
You're muted,
You're
McFadden.
muted.
Sad.
I'll
You
say
probably
that
didn't agree
again.
upon it.
I will agree with the demon on this. And yeah, I would go Moss over Ford. I think he's due for one of his big games. They give him a lot of volume in Indy. I did pick the Bears to win, so I think Chicago's going to be leading, and they're going to get less. And Flacco's going to want to air the ball out. So I like Moss as the top choice. HN honestly is the top choice if he's playing. And then between Moss, I've got Moss over Ford. Connor is kind of like the last ditch effort, mainly because of their opponent. Before we move on, Tom E. Fin fan, Kenny G sounds weak.
Damn.
Matt West, absolutely not. Kenny G is terrible.
Hating.
Thank you guys for backing me up.
I can't.
Hating.
They're just trying to be tough. That's
No,
all
I
I'm
just
trying to side with McFadden.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
What
Brian needed
incentive do they have to?
Brian needed his men to be so manly.
I know, right?
It's just
Toxic
football. Kenny
masculinity.
G. I don't see the correlation, but I don't judge. Hey, it's
Thank you.
2023, guys.
There you go.
All right, let's go to Nikhil Bardwaj. Start 2. Aaron Jones, Zamir White, and Deontay Foreman. Rich.
Oh man, I'm going Zamir White because
he's the only one out of it, which is crazy. Zamir White is like, okay, he's the slam dunk out of these three.
That's gross.
I might, just for the chance that he ends up having one of those monster games again, go Deontay Foreman, but I don't know. Aaron Jones hasn't done anything. I don't know that I expect anything to come out of that. So I'm going to go Zamir White and Deontay Foreman. And
I did see that, and I honestly don't know if it affects his availability, but AJ Dillon broke his finger last week. Yeah. He said he told reporters today that he broke his thumb or something. I don't know if that affects anything, if it's his left hand or if his carry hand.
Really quick. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but sorry. Nikhil confirmed, in addition to those, he's starting Swift. I might go with Aaron Jones and White. Personally, I don't know if Swift hurts, man. Swift has been killing your team this year if you've started him. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that a hot take?
Seahawks is a better matchup than they've been facing, for what that's worth.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there. If I don't know if Swift should be locked in the way that Nikhil has locked him in.
So it's Swift. So he's
Here's
starting.
The four.
Okay, we need 3 basically.
Oh, we need 3.
Right.
Then Swift will probably be the third, and then you can throw Foreman off the bridge. In my opinion, I don't want to.
So Dillon
Swift over Jones.
Dillon missed practice because of the broken thumb. I was just looking into this, and the Packers have to determine if the broken thumb will affect his ability to carry the ball. So more information should come out that tomorrow. So I mean, I don't love Aaron Jones, but if there's no Dillon, Jones might be the guy. I think the Packers will also get right against that weak Buck secondary we mentioned. I think there's going to be some opportunities from Aaron Jones, but it's also hard to trust him. So I get that side.
I like Aaron Jones a great deal if he plays. That's how I feel. If he plays has been such a huge if this year, unfortunately. Kind of a wasted year for Aaron Jones.
Oscar Alvarez, fun question if this was asked in week 1. Travis Kelce or Sam Laporta, Kev?
Yeah, so Travis Kelce or Sam Laporta. We talked about the Chiefs play the Patriots. I think that there's a good chance they score at least 21, 28, in that range, probably a lot more. So I would say Kelce's a good, solid play this week. The Lions play the Broncos, who are quite good on defense in general, and they've been, as we know, one of the better defenses second half of the year. Everybody remembers the 70-point game. Their course correction has been one for the books, really, truthfully. However, a bit susceptible to tight ends, for the record. That's probably their weakness.
That's putting it lightly.
Yeah, so I would say there's something there for Laporta too. I'm going to quote Demon here. I'd probably start your studs and throw Kelce in there.
Laporta's kind of a stud at this
both
point.
Studs,
though.
yeah.
Oscar, who's your flex? Let's talk about flex. I mean, can we get both in there? Can you flex?
Is it tight end premium? If it's tight end premium, then I'm really considering it because Laporta gets a lot of receptions in that.
No. As a rule, Brian, our tight end, this is something I wanted to ask you because we have a tight end premium league. Do tight ends get premium points in flex as well?
Oh, yeah. It's a tight end position. It has nothing to do with where you put them.
Did not know that.
If it is a tight end, if the player plays the tight end position, anywhere you put them at tight end or at flex, they get an additional half point.
That is fascinating. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
One thing that would make me lean Kelsey is I don't know how this is going to work out for him and Mahomes this week, though. But Mahomes being mad and wanting to make a statement, that could just be, a 15, 20 target game against, for Kelsey. It could turn into that. Or he can just get sloppy and more frustrated and just throw the ball all over the place. But I think I would lean more towards him targeting Kelsey and it working out, especially against the Patriots. So that would make me lean Kelsey more. But if there's a way I can start these two, especially with all the way receivers are banged up now and the question marks we have a running back, I mean, these are two of the surest things probably that perhaps on your roster. I don't know what your roster looks like, but
I'm going to completely echo what both of these gentlemen have said. If I had to pick between these, it would be a slightest edge to Kelsey, but I wouldn't hate you for playing Laporta. If I can find both of these guys, depending on who else is on your roster, I'm going to start both of these guys. Laporta will have 6 to 8 reception games. There's a lot of receivers that have 6 to 8 reception games. Laporta's got touchdown upside. I don't think that there's a whole lot of receivers that are necessarily a better play than Laporta. And if we're talking flex, there's almost certainly not a running back that's going to be a better option than him unless you are stacked at running back. We do have our first super chat. Josh Brunner. 2 picks, wide receiver, Myers or Evans at flex. He has Cooper Kupp and Amon-Ra St. Brown with Tyler Lockett on the bench. And running back, Ford or Swift. He has Breece Hall starting and, not going to say it, Gainwell on the bench. Kev, we'll start with you on this one.
Yeah, so if we're going Myers or Evans, in my humble opinion, it isn't even a question. I love Mike Evans, and I've loved him my whole life. I will love him until the day I die. He's a Hall of Famer, and he's my first ever wide receiver one on my dynasty team and one of my first ever dynasty team. So I'm riding with Mike Evans blindly into the dark. He won me a championship last year. I'm sure you guys remember his 54-point outburst. So that's a no-brainer.
Kevin likes to sit in his room, listen to Kenny G, and stare at posters of Mike Evans.
I was going to make a similar comment.
There's a lot coming to light about me today, you guys.
I almost interrupted him to make that comment.
Kupp and St. Brown are locked in. I'm comfortable with Lockett riding the bench this week, but he is somebody who's worth considering in that flex as well. But I'd still go Evans over him. But nice job building your wide receiver. And then you're looking at Ford or Swift. I think we've already answered this already. I'd go Ford over Swift this week personally.
Yeah, for me, it's Evans and Ford over Swift. We can't really add much to what Kevin said.
No
100%.
No more
Evans, Ford. I know Evans had a crappy week last week, but it's Mike Evans. He's money in the bank. And
Lockett is worth thinking about. Like, I think Lockett, is closer
not
than
over
Evans,
not over
Myers. Not over Evans. No, but
yeah, and definitely not over Kupp coming off his best game of the season, and then of course St. Brown.
See anybody listening to Kenny G staring at a picture of Tyler Lockett? That doesn't make sense.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah, no,
it's only Mike Evans.
Mike Evans, sure. Kenny G, Lockett, no, not at all.
Not happening.
We got a couple of statements coming up. SG Rich, you're going live tonight just to give Vegas detention again, aren't you?
We'll see. Sure they might actually get reinstated. They've had a bit of an immunity to detention once they got rid of Josh McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels, suddenly they're on their better behavior.
Yeah,
that's great. And Rick Swan says, Kevin, one of us made the championship, Fields or Mayfield.
That's my stepdad. Congrats. We're actually, he must not understand the scoring. It's one of those like 2-week playoff situations. I also made the championship, Rick, actually, believe it or not. But I'm not going to give you advice in a game I'm playing you, so I'll leave this one for the fellas.
Rick, I feel like Kevin's just saying that to save face. I'm going to believe you and say Kevin's been eliminated from that. Fields or Mayfield, I would say go Fields, and Kevin would probably say the same thing because he has that incredible rushing floor, and he's just got a much higher ceiling than Mayfield. Yeah. So, and if you end up playing Kevin, if he's not lying, I hope you kick his ass badly.
He won't.
Yeah, 2 weeks. So Bucks going up against the Packers 2 weeks ago. The Packers shut down Mahomes, and I know they got beat by what is Tommy Cutlets? Is that his new name? Is that what we're calling him right now? Tommy
Cutlets. Respect on that name.
But it's not like a lot of that was not necessarily. He made some nice runs, and Saquon scored the 2 touchdowns. So Fields to me is the obvious choice here. Good luck, Rick. I hope you beat Kevin if he is indeed in the championship.
Not
game.
happening.
Justin Spiewak, Breece Hall or Gibbs? I have JT, but he's injured. My other running back is McCaffrey. So CMC is obviously a lock. Breece Hall or Jahmyr Gibbs, Rich?
Ooh, that game is gonna be so sloppy in Miami. So I'm gonna go with Gibbs because of that. But that is tough. But I'm going to lean Gibbs because of the weather that they're going to. I mean, it's pretty much a given that that's going to be a bad, sloppy game. So I'm going to go Gibbs.
Justin, give yourself a pat on the back for that running back room. That's
gosh.
a hell of a running back room.
Yeah.
I agree with Demon there. Gibbs over Hall. There's not a lot of guys that the Jets fan Demon and the Breece Hall truther myself would put over Breece Hall, but Jahmyr Gibbs happens to be one of them. This should be a competitive game, Denver versus Detroit, and competitive game scripts favor Jahmyr Gibbs over David Montgomery. So that's a Gibbs all day.
Yeah, I agree. I think Dolphins defense is going to be motivated. Like you said, Rich, sloppy weather. I think the Jets would have had a better shot if the Dolphins hadn't just lost in the ugly fashion against the Titans on Monday night. And on the other side of it, I think the Lions are motivated after losing 2 out of their last 3. They have a nice matchup coming up. But yeah, good on you. JT, hopefully back next week. If you win this week, man, you're going to be sitting pretty.
Yeah, you're a dog, Justin.
127 Lasher. Cortland Sutton or David Montgomery at flex, Kev?
Yeah, we just talked about David.
All Sutton does is catch big touchdowns.
It's insane. Yeah. Big touchdowns and great catches in the end zone. He is a dog. Earned the respect of the team, of the fantasy community this year. Love Cortland Sutton. I think Montgomery is a good play. That's tough.
They're both facing each other, Broncos versus Lions.
And it's very similar player archetypes. Like they're the touchdown upside guys. I think I'll go with Monty because I think there's a little bit more ceiling, but I don't hate either play. I really think you could flip a coin on this one.
Yeah, that's the way I feel. I would probably lean Monty just because he would. I'm thinking he's going to see more. He'll have the ball in his hands more often, and he does have, in my opinion, a better chance to hit the end zone twice. They get down to the goal line, so
they're both hitting it once.
Unless he tells Jahmyr Gibbs, hey, you take it, kid, again. Like, just don't do that ever again, David Montgomery. But,
not cool.
I would lean Monty. But like Kevin said, it is a coin flip. I don't hate either play.
I got a fun stat for you guys. 3. That's the number of games Sutton doesn't have a touchdown in this year.
Yeah.
Wow.
3 games without a touchdown. 10 games with a touchdown. Yeah. It's kind of automatic at this point, which means Russ trusts him near the end zone, but he's also getting long bomb touchdown. I mean, it's just, I love it. I love the upside.
Everything in there.
Yes.
He's a good player.
And I get the Monty love, but there's Gibbs there splitting it. Nobody is splitting it. Like Jerry Jeudy is not taking anything away from Cortland Sutton at this point. So I am actually going to go Sutton. I like the upside play in playoff time. We have a defense question also for 127 Lasher. Rich, Raiders or Cowboys D this week?
Ooh, man. I love the Raiders. I love the Raiders tonight because of the situation. So I might just do that because I think you're guaranteed to get maybe like a 15-point game at a minimum because of this Chargers offense. All they have is Austin Eckler, who looks like he's washed right now.
Yeah, they got Easton Stick and no Keenan Allen.
So I ordinarily
and the ghost of Eckler.
Yeah, ordinarily I would say lean Cowboys, but I mean the Raiders could just give you a phenomenal defensive game tonight. And Mason Crosby's playing. Max Crosby, sorry, not Mason Crosby.
I agree with Demon here. I think it's Raiders all day. Little bit of a different reason. I mean, I'll echo everything he said. I don't disagree with anything he said, but we all know who's on the other side of the Cowboys defense this week. And it ain't pretty for them. That's all I'll say.
I picked Dallas, Kev. Sorry. I do think it's going to be a close game.
Did you? I thought I saw you pick Buffalo.
Did I pick the Bills?
I think you picked Buffalo.
Who's favored? I picked who's favored.
Yeah, Buffalo's favored.
Oh, then I did pick the Bills. Oh, that's
I was going to say I'm picking Buffalo.
I saw you pick the Chiefs last week. Thank you. You need to stop picking the Bills because when you pick them, they freaking lose, and when you don't, they win. So go change your pick, please.
All right, we'll see. No, but it's locked in. I put it out to the public. I put it out to the masses. It's locked in.
Way to go, Brian.
We got another super chat who just wants to say, hey, this is for the Giants winning.
Ender Stein, by the way, is the resident Packers fan.
That's nice. Was that a bet or was that just like a nice gesture?
He was in there. He said last week, because I was rooting for the Giants, he said, I'll give you $100 super chat if the Packers win. And I said, Ender, I can't do it. I need the Packers to lose.
Yeah.
He's a good man.
He is. Tommy Cutlets.
All right, Jack Stevenson again. Start 3. CeeDee Lamb, Stephon Diggs, DK Metcalf, Nico Collins, Chris Olave, Cortland Sutton, Kev.
Brian McFadden, resident breaking news guy. What's the Nico Collins situation looking like this week? Any word?
Not definitive.
Okay, because I'm in a similar boat.
And
as
Stroud
Stevenson.
is almost certainly not going to play.
Yeah.
He has not practiced yet, still in concussion protocol. If you're not even practicing by the time Thursday rolls around, highly unlikely you're going to be cleared in time to play on Sunday.
That hurts. Yes. Lamb, Diggs. If Stroud doesn't play, I wouldn't play Collins. So I would go with Lamb.
Diggs hasn't been that good lately.
He hasn't. You're right. He hasn't. No, you're very right.
I want to wait the bear.
He can't. He just tried to
stuff.
brush by it.
Lamb
I couldn't let him. I had to like, it's not a slam dunk.
You're right. Yeah, to me, it is Lamb, Diggs, and then I'd probably go with Olave for my third. But I love DK this week as well.
No, we've been talking about DK and I don't know, Olave with Derek Carr. Yeah.
Coin flip for me with Metcalf or Olave, but I'd lean Olave for volume.
For me, it's Metcalf and Lamb are smashes for me.
Yes.
Then it comes down to Diggs and Sutton.
Yep.
And I would probably, just because he's Stephon Diggs, man, I would probably go Stephon Diggs.
Thank you.
But yeah, that's what I would do.
This
Nice
is
stick, though,
verbatim
pretending like you weren't
my thought process. Like Lamb and Metcalf, slam dunk. Olave out, Collins out between Sutton and Diggs, and it's Stephon Diggs. You got to go with Diggs. So ditto, Rich.
Excellent.
I love Olave.
Josh Brunner, Myers or Evans PPR flex. Is this the same?
I think we might have answered this question.
Yeah,
he might have answered it, or asked it multiple times.
By the
Evans,
way, I love how Brian hears a brilliant answer and then he just says, "Oh yeah, that was my thought process too." Let's move on.
I'm trying to give you credit, and you're okay. Fine.
It's like, how smart do they sound?
It's going to be that kind of party, Rich. Okay, noted.
I know, demon slinging.
Noted. Tucker Ryan got Bijan, Kyron, Gibbs, and Pollard. Which three to start, Demon?
Gibbs and Kyron are big time for me.
Bijan gets so much volume. Now that Arthur Smith has woken up, it's kind of hard. How do you?
Yeah. I think it's going to be Bijan, Kyron, and Gibbs. Pollard, I just don't trust Pollard, especially with the way, they'll pass the ball and everything. So, yeah, it's those three.
I agree completely. Yeah, I agree. I had the same thought process, Demon.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're just gonna let Rich answer.
Yeah,
we agree.
We'll just be your yes man. How's that sound?
Donuts, Rashad White, Mostert, Achane, or Walker. Pick two, Rich.
I'll take this.
Yeah.
All right. All right. See, I'm gonna go Rashad White and Mostert because Achane, again, he's injured. Might even if he plays, might not play the full game, and then you have the whole Kenneth Walker situation, which I'm not a big fan of. So yeah, the great Rashad White and Raheem Mostert for me.
The great. Are we attaching great to his name? He has been good. I'll say he has been good.
I'm not trying to continue on with the bit, but I had the same thought process.
It's same. It's same. We were the first answer tonight.
We
all varied. We gave diverse answers.
Pro Football Demon.
Now we're just like,
hour.
yep. This is what people come to just to watch us agree with everything. That's not true at all.
He's nailing it.
Let's find something to disagree on. Justin again. Zay Flowers, D Hop, or Lockett. I need one for wide receiver and another for my flex. So we are picking two of these, Kev.
Yeah, this is really hard. I'm facing a similar decision with the Hop or Lockett.
You really are tied into Lockett. Like, to me, this is like Flowers, D-Hop, move on. But you have
that's the way. That was my thinking.
Yeah,
an affinity for Lockett.
No, you guys hate Tyler Lockett for some reason. Just like
at this
I think you love Tyler Lockett for some reason.
Definitely loves Tyler Lockett.
Those receivers that are just like underrated and underappreciated. It's the Deontay's,
he is, but at this point he's 31. He really hasn't produced consistently this season.
Get the charts, Brian.
I'll bring out the charts
last week. Yeah, get the charts.
I'll show the charts.
Game last week. They're playing the Eagles, who are horrible against the pass. Lockett's one of the biggest volume, wide receivers on that team. He's going to get more volume than Metcalf and JSN probably. I think I'll go with Flowers and D-Hop just because D-Hop is sizzling after that last game. I'm so sorry about that, Brian McFadden, by the way.
I'm not.
I'm not either, but I am though. Like as a homie, I am. As a fan, I was so happy to watch it. I cried tears of joy, but as a homie, that was tough to watch. So flowers and hop.
I texted, and I think you were live when you texted me, Rich, or maybe you weren't. You just said it afterwards, but there was so many. I lost like multiple fantasy leagues. Yep. And the Dolphins lost. It was one of my dynasty. So I made it in 3 of my 4 dynasty leagues in the playoffs. The only one I didn't, I lost by 1.5 points. And it was because Will Levis drove them down the field and got like 50 passing yards to put him over the edge.
That was insane.
So I had to watch my Dolphins lose while my fantasy team was getting knocked out of the playoffs.
Well, I was doing simultaneous play-by-play for both games, simultaneous, side by side. The first person to ever do that, by the way. It was phenomenal. But
Pretty sure the Mannings did the same thing, but you know.
No. I did it better. Everybody said I did it better. But the thing, and it was only one of me, by the way, Brian. Okay, so stop putting the Mannings ahead of me.
Okay,
thank you.
Good point.
Right.
So I stopped doing play-by-play at the end of that game after the Titans botched that second punt or whatever. I said this game's over, and then all of a sudden, damn.
Yeah, I'm guilty as well. Turned it off, and then I saw the score update, and I was like, "Oh, we got a game. We got a game." Sorry,
so
man.
we can now stop talking about that. Rich did it better. Oh, there you go. Good for you.
Thank
you.
There you go. Thank you. Oh, hold on. Oh, go ahead. I was just going to highlight one more thing, and then we can get to Mike's.
Okay,
question.
Go ahead. Highlight away.
There we go.
This is my guy, man. Yo, Demon. It's the Demon hour.
Oh, okay.
Look at that.
It's the Demon hour.
I kind of feel like I need to watch part
There's
of that.
There's more comments, but I won't even highlight them all. But go ahead.
Okay. All right. I got to highlight my Kenny G hate. You can highlight your being a grown man. Congratulations.
I love it.
Okay. Now we'll answer Money Mike Madness. Flex player Taysom Hill is Tyler Lockett? No, so obviously that's meant to be or Kevin.
Kevin, you
know my answer.
I had to start with him.
You
really
guys know
just
my
that simple?
answer.
Tyler Lockett?
Yeah,
Just
it's Tyler
slam
Lockett
dunk.
over Taysom Hill. Yeah, it's less volatile, and it's a volume play this week, and it's a matchup play this week. Yeah, I'm all day Tyler Lockett.
I do have to say I agree with Kev. Let's shout out to Money Mike Madness, by the way. He's a good man.
What up, Money Mike Madness?
I disagree. And you talked about volatility. So from week 6 to week 13, he didn't play last week because he was out, but he's already started practicing, so I think he's going to be good this week. 12 points, 18.8 points, 24.4 points, 22.6 points, 4.8, 9.1, 16.9. That's Taysom Hill.
Just glazed over the 2 single-digit ones in there. Just
really quick.
Would you like me to read Tyler Lockett's? How do you think that's going to come?
You know, okay, it's fair. No,
no,
Lockett's had some inconsistency, but he is coming off of a good game, and he's going into a good matchup. He's finally seemingly fully healthy. Gino's back.
Would you guys say this is fair? Would you say Lockett provides the safer
Since week
floor?
9, 5.7, 21.2, 9.6, 5, 8.7, 14.4. Who's more volatile? Tyler Lockett.
Did you hear the way he did that with the voice?
He really, I know, he's really selling it.
17, 3.
I think
it's called showmanship.
It is. I'm Lockett all day, but I'm not mad at you, McFadden, for your blindness.
I'm chasing ceiling in the playoffs, and to me, Taysom is that ceiling because he can run a touchdown, he can pass a touchdown, he can catch a touchdown.
That is a good point.
The Saints don't have a lot of other go-to weapons, especially in the red zone. So I'm chasing those points.
That's a good point, Money Mike. If you want to chase ceiling, then go Taysom Hill.
Good old J Dragon 91 with Pacheco not practicing. Should I start Walker, Mitchell? I guess it's Keaton Mitchell or Deontay Foreman, Rich.
I'm going to pass this to Kevin.
Oh, all right.
It's not an easy answer. I like the 3. Foreman's probably the odd man out in my opinion. I'd probably be Walker,
especially
or Mitchell.
with Herbert back. And
I think I'd go Mitchell for ceiling. I know Walker at times has had ceiling this year, but I think Charbonnet's presence sort of dampens the ceiling a little bit. And I think the fact that Seattle, I'm projecting them to be in a pass-heavy game script. I think Mitchell is the play this week. And, you kind of got to hold your breath and hope for one of those home run kind of plays, I think.
See, I think for me, I don't think Zach Charbonnet is that good. And I think Kenneth Walker's more likely to get a goal line touchdown. I don't think Zach Charbonnet is that.
He's pretty good.
He's going to
I think he's talented.
I like watching him play. I'm probably a better running back than he is, but I would go Kenneth Walker.
Wow. Pulling his own athletics into it. You're correct. That is true. We have
Yeah, I know. I think Walker has a better shot to hit the end zone because Mitchell's not going to get those goal line carries if he's down there, and it's a less crowded backfield. So I think I would lean Walker.
I think I would go PJ Walker. Wrong,
Wow.
wrong Walker.
It's sorta
Kenneth Walker. PJ Walker's not even employed right now. He is a free agent. No, I would go Kenneth Walker here. I like the Mitchell upside. I don't hate that as a play. Foreman to me is completely eliminated. But Walker is going to get the goal line touches, and Walker could break a big touchdown. So he kind of gives you both of those avenues where Mitchell was you're really just banking on him breaking off a big run. Start Allen, Tua, or Love. Now you have to start with this one, Demon.
Man, that is a tough one.
He hates
I'm not starting
those quarterbacks.
I'm not. Yeah, I hate all three of them. By the way, no.
That's why I wanted you to start.
For me, it's clearly Josh Allen. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
It's clearly Josh Allen because of the
Cool.
rushing upside. Yeah, oh yeah.
But who would you put second?
Who would I put
this
second?
week? This week, not like overall quarterback rank.
Because of the matchup, and it's going to be so windy, and Tua throws lollipops that are just going to get blown into the stands. I would go Jordan Love.
Lollipops.
I actually agree. I love lollipops. That is a great term.
Lollipops are good. Yeah,
it is.
That sounds nice.
It's Allen, big gap, Love, small gap Tua, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I Love has a fantastic matchup. I think he has a big week, but you're not going to sit Josh Allen in the playoffs,
especially when the Bills are in must-win games and it profiles to be a shootout. Dallas does have a good defense, better than.
But we've seen teams like San Francisco light up this Cowboys defense.
That's true.
So
can I just say one thing more? Join us in the offseason, and we will explain to you why it's probably not a good idea in a seasonal league, one quarterback, to have these three quarterbacks on your roster.
True.
That's a good question. Why are you choosing between three quarterbacks?
Yeah, who are all pretty darn good. Well, Love, you could probably have gotten Love off the waiver wire this year. So, especially if you listen to the waiver wire podcast early in the year, he was a common name because Brian loves him so much.
This is Zenith.
Zenith. Would you rather take Stafford or Love? Usually I got Justin Herbert, but he got injured and has been failing me, Kev.
Yeah, so Stafford has come on Miley Cyrus style, like a wrecking ball. Matt Stafford is unbelievable.
Come for the fantasy advice, stay for the references.
We've been singing Love's praises, and he's got a good matchup, but I think I'd go Stafford. Stafford is on a tear right now, and
they both have good matchups. Rams have the Commanders.
Yep.
These two quarterbacks have two of the best quarterback matchups this week.
Yeah. Zenith, roll with Stafford and prosper, but you really can't go wrong. If you wanted to flip a coin, I wouldn't blame you, but I'd lean Stafford.
Stafford is much less likely to roll out of a clean pocket and make a stupid mistake. So I would go Stafford because Jordan Love does that because he's so good. Right, Brian?
Yeah, okay. Love, hey, I'm not on. Oh, okay, great. Now I'm picturing a naked Matt Stafford on a wrecking ball. Thanks for that. That was worth it. Wanted man. Thank you very much. Nice comment. See, now you got to pull my question back up because I was about to answer. There we go. All right, so Love gives rushing upside. The Rams, the Commanders are also really bad against the run, and we know Sean McVay wants to run the ball first. I know Stafford has been fantastic this year, but I think this is a big Kyron game. I think they get out ahead of Washington. I don't think Stafford has to pass as much. The Bucs can score on the other side of it, so I think Love will have to. I think will get more opportunities. He adds a rushing upside. In one of my dynasty leagues, these are my two starting quarterbacks, Superflex. So I've got Love and Stafford. I don't have to choose between the two. I had Herbert also, and Herbert got injured. So it's funny that he says that. But I'm going to be the contrarian here and go, let's go Jordan Love. Boy vlogs. Boy vlogs.
I think it's boy.
Moss or Eckler, Rich?
I'm gonna go Moss because Eckler hasn't been good, but Eckler is going to see a lot of. I think he's going to see a lot of pass volume tonight because who else are they going to throw to? So Eckler, I think, has a pretty safe floor. But the guy, if one of these guys could actually hit in a big way, I'm going to put my money on Moss.
Yeah, I would take Pepto-Bismol out of those three. No, probably. Yeah, I think Moss is a higher likelihood threat for a touchdown, but I do think Eckler, based on a volume play and based on the philosophy we've been talking about all night, which is start your studs in the playoffs. I mean, Moss was a stud at the beginning of the year. He's been super, super cooled down, but I still think I'd go with Eckler this week.
It's also they just you mentioned it, Rich, the Chargers don't have anyone else right now.
Yeah.
So I think this could just be one of those games where like Eckler gets 12 targets, just because there's literally no one else to try to beat the Raiders on Thursday night. All right, it is we got a 3-ish minutes left, so let's do rapid fire. Get to as many of these questions as we can. Donut again. I can't remember if we addressed this one or not.
I think we did.
White.
Yeah.
Pick
White and Mostert.
Yeah. Okay, good. We did that one. Did that one. A lot of people asking same question multiple times.
Love those people.
Matt West, better question is, does Vegas give up the window seat in detention, Rich?
No, they're guarding it. They don't give
Not
up
a
the
chance.
window seat. Yep.
Definitely not giving up the window seat. Smalls Tech, Kyler or Gino, Kev?
Kyler. Oh, sorry, Gino.
Oh,
You were so sure, and then immediately flip-flopped.
They're both good plays. I don't like the matchup with San Francisco. Or they're playing the Chiefs, right? Or the 49ers, right?
Yeah, Cardinals are playing.
I don't like that
SF.
matchup.
Yep.
I'd go Gino.
yeah, I would go Gino.
Yeah.
I'll go Kyler. I like the rushing upside. He's actually been playing really well. Let's keep going here. Money Mike again. Knox or Kincaid at flex? Ooh, a tight end flex question. I'll start with the Bills guy. You can go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah,
What do you want to answer?
Kincaid's a little banged up. He was in a red non-contact jersey today, which I don't love to hear. So I'd say monitor it. If Kincaid plays, he's my pick 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, I'll echo that.
Yeah, same. Ditto. Go with Kincaid unless he is not healthy. Jalen Clemens, Achane, Aaron Jones, or Jaden Reed, Demon?
It's Achane, Jaden Reed, and Aaron Jones in that order. If Achane can't play, I'm going Jaden Reed over Aaron Jones.
I like the answer, Demon. I'd just flip Reed and Achane. I'd start Reed over Achane just based on safety and health. But I would also go Reed, Achane, Jones.
I'm gonna let's go Jaden Reed. It was close between. Yeah. Let's go Jaden Reed. I think Achane, if he is injured, if he does play, bad weather, I don't know if he's going to get as many opportunities. Mostert has still been solid, so let's go Jaden Reed for sure. Masai Collins, pick 2. Moss, Achane, Swift, Mixon, Kev.
Mixon and Moss.
Yeah, I like that. Mixon and Moss.
Security. I like Achane, but security.
Yeah.
I'm
I would start Achane over Moss if Achane is healthy. Mixon is the slam dunk of this group. You guys have heard us over and over again talk about Swift, so we don't have to go further into that.
Right.
Let's see. Enderstein, Love, or Baker, Rich?
Ooh, I'm going to go Jordan Love, I think.
Love.
Yeah.
There we go. Can we get that? I'm going to clip that. I'm going to go
Jordan
Love.
It's Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. Braden G, Tyler Lockett, Jordan Addison, or Kenneth Walker in my flex, Kev?
Tyler Lockett.
By the way, I think you need your glasses. I see you like squinting, looking at the chat. Like, put your glasses on.
You guys know I love Tyler Lockett. It's
Evan said Tyler Lockett before you even finished asking the question.
Yep.
I'm gonna go Jordan Addison.
Yeah, I was gonna say, why isn't Addison a consideration here? Is Tyler Lockett really who you would start out of these three?
Do we feel good about? Do we feel good about Nick Mullins? Do we feel really good about that?
I feel good about Jordan Addison.
I feel good about Addison, and Mullins is a guy. He's going to get the ball to his playmakers. He looked okay last week.
I think Lockett has a better matchup.
No,
but Metcalf is going to be the beneficiary of that matchup, not Lockett.
We'll see. They called me a madman last week.
We did.
Don't forget.
Fair enough. If you do it 2 weeks in a row, then we'll just defer to you and just like this is the Kevin show. All right. Do you believe Moss will produce as projected, Hunter Haley?
I think he's got a good shot too. Yeah,
I do.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is a good game for him to get back. I looked at their matchup. They're playing the Steelers at home. They need to win to stay in pace in the wild card, and they still have a shot at the AFC South, especially if Jacksonville loses to Baltimore. So I think we could see some Moss production this week. Masai Collins, McBride or Likely, Rich?
I'm going Isaiah Likely. I'm riding the Likely train.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ditto there. All right, we'll get to 2 more questions. Broncos fan 97, pick 3, 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. We've got DJ Moore, Jamar Chase, DK Metals. Is that a typo or because I kind of like DK Metals? Puka and Nico Collins. This is a good one, Kev.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chase, Metals, and Puka.
Chase, Metals, and Puka. I'm going to say Tyler Lockett. Oh, no, he's not here. No, I'm going to go DJ Moore, Chase, and Metals.
No love for Puka. Tough.
Well, the Rams Commanders. That's such a good matchup.
Yeah.
This is one of the best questions because these are some nice choices here. Nico, we said Stroud's not playing and he's banged up, so we'll kind of eliminate him. That's an easy one. DJ Moore has been playing out of his mind anytime Justin Fields is in, and the Bears have been playing well. Jamar Chase is Jamar Chase. You don't ever sit him.
Right.
So then it's between Metals and Puka.
I think Metals is a lock.
You got to go Metals.
So. Yeah.
With that matchup, he's a lock.
They both have good matchups, but you got DK and Puka, as great as he's been. Still,
so you're still taking Puka over Moore, Kev?
Me personally, yeah. I like Puka. I like volume. I like safety.
Moore's going to get the volume. They'll throw the ball 12 times to him in that Bears offense.
Banged up? Yes, no, maybe so. Ankle.
We heard. Brian said that hasn't really heard much about.
There hasn't been too many rumblings.
Yeah, I mean, I heard he's got a bit of an ankle, but if he's not on the injury report,
I don't even. Oh, he's questionable. So he practiced today. Okay. Limited, but he practiced. So
I'd still probably go Puka for safety, but I don't hate the Moore play. I think I'd go Puka.
All right,
dance with the girl who brought you, Demon. Come on.
Let's close it out. Well, this is let's look at the second one because I think Stroud's not going to play. But Liam Quayle said Stroud or Fields, or should I pick up Love or Browning, Rich?
I'm going Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Easy. Yeah.
I think so too. I think upside and rushing and dance with the girl that brought you.
Actually, I have another question that's important for tonight. Samuel Lance, do I start the Colts defense or Raiders defense tonight? I need to know before the game.
I'm going Raiders.
I like it because you have
the
more
Steelers with Mitch Trubisky at quarterback.
But he's not Easton Stick. He's still Mitch Trubisky.
That's true. And there's no Keenan Allen.
Yeah. You have Quentin Johnston out there.
Both are at home.
But he catches passes from Easton Stick, though, somehow. But
it's always nice to know what kind of week you need to have based on how Thursday goes for you. Yeah. And it's a good matchup. I don't hate the Raiders defense play.
I'm going to agree. Let's go Raiders. Tommy Finfan, we're going to close out on this one. Where's the apology to Green Bay?
They get no apology. They just lost to the Giants. Why would they get an apology?
That is, I just wanted to put it up there, but this is not the right Tom. This is not the right week to ask that question.
Tom,
next week, yes. Thank you,
Next week.
Every week, Money Mike. Come on.
All right, that wraps it up, guys. We talked before. We need to figure out what we're going to do in the offseason because this is a great Thursday show. I'm sure the crowd would agree, but there's no fantasy questions to answer. We're going to figure out some sort of format, but in the meantime, we'll be here for at least the next 2 weeks throughout the fantasy playoffs. On behalf of Rich Jodice, the Pro Football Demon, Kevin Phillip Fox, the Buffalo Trill, and the Pale Guy, the Brian, on behalf of Legit Football. This has been the Fantasy Q&A show.
Wait, I'm going live. I'm going live for the game in like 5 minutes. So if anybody wants to join me for the
Pro Football Demon.
It's a good time, man. It's a great time.
Apparently, he's so good at doing 2 games. What's he going to do with only 1 game to call? So go and find out. Pro Football Demon channel. Make sure to watch the riveting Raiders versus Chargers. Aiden O'Connell versus Easton Stick. Man, what a year for backup quarterbacks.
Hell yeah.
On that note, we'll see you guys next week. Win all of your games.